Hi and welcome to another 2-minute table talker with the HanDrinksSolo Wine Club, this time on Noble Hill's Cruxes Mataro Nova 2021. But before we go any further, I want you to take this bottle and put it in the fridge. Because you might have noticed that over the last few months, we've been hunting some of South Africa's finest specialist rosés. And you might have opened your box this month and been rifling through it and assumed that I had in fact abandoned my search for rosés because there's nothing in the box. But you couldn't be more wrong. If you take a close look at this bottle, you will have noticed that I put a Bizarro sticker on the bottle. Now, I usually use the Bizarro sticker as a warning sign that you need to watch the info video before you serve this wine to any unsuspecting guests. But I realize now that in this context, the use of the word Bizarro was incredibly insensitive. Because what we have here is an incredibly brave young red wine who stepped out and said, "Hello world, this is the real me. All this, the body, this is not who I am. You need to look past the surface level appearances. Sure, I might look like a red wine, but deep inside, at my core, I identify as a rosé." And then in that moment of beautiful vulnerability, Captain Insensitive over here goes and slaps a Bizarro sticker on its butt. So before we go any further, in case you ignored me earlier, stop the video and go put this guy in the fridge. He is a rosé. Welcome back. The production of this wine is rather small, only 600 bottles made, and the wine is produced from fruit that is harvested from Mourvedre bushvines up in the Simonsberg on Noble Hill estate. And you might ask, why is it called Mataro if it's made from Mourvedre bushvines? Well, Mataro is the name of Mourvedre in Australia, nowhere else really. Mourvedre itself is from Spain, where it's called Monastrell. And so the question is, well, where on earth does Mataro come from? Well, there's a town in Catalonia called Mataro, but nowhere in Spain did they actually call it Mataro. And to add confusion to it, none of the team at Noble Hill, in fact, have any connection to Australia or Spain. So the Mataro nomenclature remains a mystery. And of course, when you are presented with a conundrum that is a red wine that identifies as a rosé, you go and ask all the same usual questions, don't you? How did it come to be this way? Was it abused as a child? Was a crucial father figure missing at a key stage of development? Possibly was it the drugs? And can it be fixed? And I say, shame on you and your narrow little binary worldview. But for real though, how did it come to be this way? Well, this particular wine is made by a process called carbonic maceration, which is where they take the grapes as whole berries and they put them in a sealed tank that is full of carbon dioxide and starved of oxygen. And what happens is that the grapes actually begin to ferment from the inside out, intracellular fermentation. There's no yeast there whatsoever. Now, I'm not going to take you through the chemical processes that happen inside the grape, mostly because I don't fully understand them. But what happens is that the fact that there's no yeast and that this is a different sort of fermentation means it triggers an entirely different group of flavors and aromas, which is why you get these incredible elements of guava fruit roll and candy floss and cherry lifesaver. What's more, the other cool thing that happens is inside the grape, as alcohol begins to form, it acts as a solvent and starts to dissolve color from the inside of the grape skin. The beauty here is that tannins live on the outside of the skins where color pigments can be accessed on the inside. So you're getting color without getting tannins, which explains the light, silky mouthfeel. And then, of course, as fermentation continues inside the grape, it gives off CO2. CO2 bubbles up and eventually results in the grape bursting, which is usually where ordinary fermentation would continue until the wine is dry. But what winemaker Christopher Tillery has done is press them off its skins at this stage, which explains why it has such an incredibly light color. So it really is a red wine that starts out normal fermentation and then goes under a sort of gender transition and finishes fermentation as a white wine. And that is how it came to be this way. So when fermentation is done, it's taken from tank straight into bottle. There is no oak contact whatsoever. And the end result is a beautifully pure, light, aromatic expression of Mataro or Mourvedre. I'm definitely going to be featuring some more Noble Hill wines over the next couple of months because I think they're an amazing outfit. But until then, I would love to hear your thoughts on this guy. Leave a review on the info video page on the HanDrinksSolo website. And if you have any questions about Mataro versus Mourvedre or even about the carbonic maceration process, leave them there too, and I will answer them as soon as possible.